it. A potential vaccine
Morning,
for COVID-19 appears to be safe and able to generate an immune response against the virus. The new study marks the first time the vaccine was tested in humans. Currently, there's more than 100 COVID-19 vaccines in development worldwide.
A new survey showing households across the U.S. are turning to streaming TV shows as the coronavirus pandemic continues to force Americans to stay at home, and not just recent ones. According to CableTV.com, the sitcom Friends is the #1 show in the nation. The NBC sitcom most popular in 11 U.S. states, including California, New York, Texas, Florida, and Ohio. And a wallet that was stolen from a Lodi, California woman at a theater 60 years ago now back in her possession. Construction workers at Lodi Sunset Theater found the perfectly preserved red leather wallet with then 15-year-old Donna Brown's ID and pictures still inside. They ended up tracking her down by social media. It's believed a thief had stolen her wallet during a show in 1962, tossing it into the attic where it fell behind a wall. And for USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barn.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views of WVBF ownership or Hometown Talk Radio. Content aired on all programs are those of the host and their guests. Hey, Joey, what's happening? I mean, what's happening in Middleboro and surrounding towns. It's time for the Middleboro Weekend Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news. Middleboro News here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning. Welcome to the May 24th edition of Middleboro in Review. We're going to say good morning to Don.
Good morning, Joey. How you doing, buddy?
How are you, Don? How's it going this morning?
That's a nice morning,
on the 24th of May?
Sun comes up earlier, right? So,
yeah, it's pretty nice out right now.
yeah. Remember 2 weeks ago when this? Well, we didn't get any snow here, but I was talking to a friend of mine who lives north of Augusta. They got 11 inches plowable snow on Mother's Day weekend.
Well, right now it's 47 degrees in Middleboro, with the high being 61 today, with mostly sunny skies. We have Taunton, 48 degrees, so it's a degree warmer here in the center of the universe, here in Taunton. 63 degrees today for Taunton. In Driscoll, North Dakota, it's 56 right now in light rain showers. It's going to go up to 64. And in Driscoll, Texas, 76 degrees with a high of 92.
So I guess people going to Driscoll, North Dakota, and Driscoll, Texas will know, if they listen to this particular show, what the temperature is, right? Couldn't
Yeah,
know that,
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
I mean, this is the go-to place to find out. Are those only two towns in Driscoll in the United States?
In the United States, I believe so, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that's a new little thing that I'm going to have during the weather. So, we're going to start off today talking about the graduations and graduations in Massachusetts. There is something that came out this week that Massachusetts is going to allow outdoor graduations starting on July the 19th. So that is coming up in July. So most of the graduations will take place in July. I know that there's probably going to be some before in other ways and other means, but most of them will take place on the 19th of July or after. Ours will take place on the 1st of August, but here's what the article does say. New state guidelines allows for high schools to hold in-person outdoor graduation ceremonies starting July 19th with certain safety precautions in place, and as long as public health data around COVID-19 allows the state to continue along its reopening plans. Graduation ceremonies held between now and July 18th are to be held virtually or in extremely limited other circumstances, following safety protocols. According to the protocols, schools have been physically closed since March and will remain so throughout the rest of the school year. A dynamic that resulted in cancellation or postponement of many events and celebrations associated with high school graduations. So like I mentioned, our graduation is August 1st, and just want to go through the senior activities again. I've been going through these every single week, but I think it's important to do so. And it's also important to say that these dates are not set in stone as well. They are subject to change with what the guidelines are.
Or the data.
Or the data is.
The data says.
So, senior activities for Middleboro High School start on July 27th, which is a Monday, with the senior barbecue. Tuesday, July 28th, with senior scholarship night. Wednesday, July 29th, with the senior last assembly. Thursday, July 30th, senior prom at Granite Links in Quincy. July 31st, senior celebration. And Saturday, August the 1st, will be the class of 2020 graduation ceremony. So those are the dates. So graduation is August 1st, unless the date does change, and the state is allowing outdoor graduations starting on the 18th of July.
And then, obviously, it's weather permitting, but usually in August and July, it's not like the spring, or it's not even June. So I think the rain dates might be. We won't need to have many of those, but you never know either, though. So they're going to be bounced all over the place because obviously they have to be done outside. So they got to work around the weather too, I think, right?
Yes.
That's a good article. I mean, you've been talking about that last couple of weeks. Was it last week you broke that, or the week before?
I think it was about 2 weeks ago that I started talking about that.
Middleboro kind of had its eye on the ball as far as a good date.
Yes.
You know, because I don't think the guidelines were even set in stone at that point. I think there's rumblings maybe of it.
Yep, and August 1st, it's still the first Saturday of the month.
Yeah, so they're right on the ball.
Yeah.
So it's a week and a half after the guidelines kick in, I guess, right? That's good. It's good that they got to have a graduation in the class of 2020 because it's not right.
Yeah.
Anybody. I mean, I had a graduation, so did you. And for these students, I mean, they kind of got shortchanged with this virus because they didn't get to finish the rest of the year. And I remember my last 2 months in 12th grade high school. It was awesome.
Yeah.
They had so much fun.
It was a lot of great things.
Yeah, it was just so much going on, and you're the seniors. You ruled the school. It was, and I always remember coming back because it was usually around the 18th of May. The students, right? Usually, the end of May. Usually.
Late May, yes.
Late May.
I was done in late May.
Yeah, so you always come back and talk to the teachers. And all the other schools are jealous that you got.
Yeah, and then you have, and then you have like graduation rehearsals and other great things too.
All that, and it's just I just feel so bad for this class that they can't experience it. But we've never seen anything like this.
I think during these senior events, the senior activities, they'll probably be a graduation rehearsal in there somewhere.
Right.
There always is.
They'll make the best of it,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, you kind of have to. You can't cry about spilt milk. It's more than spilt milk, but
Yeah.
you just got to move on and look towards the future. So that's a good article, Joe. I'm glad you pulled that out.
Thank you. Well, we have a town election coming up on June the 20th. And I said last week what was the positions available.
That was yeah.
Yeah, a lot of positions are available.
Are they on the website?
They are on the website, yes. And I'll just go through a couple of them again. 2 selectmen seats are going to be available, or up for re-election. And those are 2 selectmen seats for 3 years. And there's 2 school committee seats for 3 years that are up. And also a planning board seat for a 5-year term, as well as others. Again, June 20th is the date. And 5 days later, June 25th, will be town meeting. Town meeting was also pushed back. Town meeting, I believe, was supposed to be in April. It was supposed to be last month.
Is that usually night, that town meeting?
Yes.
I think they might have to. They'd probably do it outside too, probably in the parking lot with tents.
I heard it was going to be at Nichols Middle School.
Okay.
So I will work to confirm that
All right.
that information. But I heard it was going to be at Nichols Middle School.
They got that big auditorium now, right?
Yeah, they have a pretty good size auditorium.
Bigger than the one in the high school, right?
Yeah, and I think they can socially distance people that way. I think that auditorium is pretty big. So,
Okay, yeah.
depending on how many people show up to town meeting. Usually there's quite a bit of people who do show up.
Right.
So,
I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of people are going to be watching it on MatCam too. Not MatCam. It's not MatCam. I'm sorry. It's the school film, the MET.
no, well, it's town meeting, so it would be MatCam.
Oh, would
I
it?
believe. I think so. Town meeting would be broadcast by MatCam, I believe. Yes.
Oh, because it's town meeting, right?
It's town meeting. Yeah.
It's town business, not school business, right?
Not school business.
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
It's not.
Okay,
It's
that's right.
town meeting.
I should know because you did both when going to school. You worked for both Karen and Mr. Pelletier, and I remember too. And I always tell my friends and stuff like that. You had it was a few years. It was 2017, right before you graduated. They had the auction. What was that auction for, Joey? Remember they had the auction for. You know what I'm saying? You did the sound. Oh, whatever.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, you had a choice. You could have worked for MatCam or you could have worked for the school, and you decided to work for the school.
Yeah. Oh, that was.
Remember that?
That was the. What was that? That was the.
You can't remember. Forget about it.
That was the.
Forget about it.
It was the auction.
The auction.
Yeah.
For who?
For the town, it was the Rotary Club.
Rotary Club. That's what it was. Right. You
Yes.
did that the year after too, didn't you? 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, there was
2019 last year.
several years I did it.
Right, but you did it under the school flag one year,
Yeah.
and then I think Karen might ask you if you could do it, and then I think Mr. Pelletier asked you like 10 minutes later, and you had to kind of make a decision which you wanted to. But I think you did it for Mr. Pelletier. It was funny because you're sitting there. I'm sitting there watching like your teacher for that and your boss. So it was the weirdest thing. It was great. It was a great feeling that you could have went any avenue at that young age. That's
Absolutely, yeah.
That was a peak point in my life. Seeing that, you know.
So, we're going to work to get that information for you on where town meeting is going to be. I know it's going to be June 25th. So, we will take a break. I will get that information for everyone, and we will be right back here on Middleboro in Review for the 24th of May. We'll be right back.
Little feedback there.
Yeah, what was that noise?
I don't know, but it's an oven in here. Is that the temperature?
Yeah, it's hot. It is hot. Yeah. I don't know why, but it's hot in here.
Oh, it's cooled down since I've been in there.
3. There might be something wrong with the air conditioning. I hope not. That would be bad. It's not gonna say. There's something up with the thing.
Spark Street Auto Body, located
like
at
all
48
commercial
Spark Street in Brockton,
Yeah.
Massachusetts,
Right.
offers
Yeah.
the highest quality collision repair
I don't think
and
you
complete
played-
auto service for your car. They are a direct repair shop for all major insurance companies. You should reach them at 508-583-1495. They're
Manager.
open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5, and 8 to 4 on Fridays. Call them today. You will not be disappointed. 508-583-1495.
223. Enter.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin. Hope you can join me every Sunday from noon to 2 o'clock here on WVBF, The Sounds of the Emerald Isle. We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live singers in the studio. And to make you laugh, some Irish comedy. That's Sundays from noon to
Just
2
going in
right
there
here
if you
on
want it.
I know.
WVBF.
Okay, thank you.
1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
TJ Driscoll Construction is based in Wareham, Massachusetts, serving the South Shore
Yep.
area and Cape Cod for 30 years. They specialize in septic
Play
repair
my
and
ad
landscaping.
last, yo.
Well, yep, your ad is gonna go last.
508-735-7966.
What, you gonna do the, You gonna do the
Septic repair, new septic systems, retaining walls.
Yeah, your
foundations,
thing is going last.
This is
excavation,
like coronavirus
lawn
thing too.
installations, tree and
The
shrub
com-
installations.
the ad,
USA?
the PSA, yeah, I think it's still on my thing.
Again,
So
the
yeah.
number is 508-735-7966. Call them today. You will not be
This is where I get all the promos done.
Right.
Now, I love this.
Williams Trading Post is a proven certified garden center and is the best shop in Middleboro for all seasonal plants and vegetables. They also sell gifts, antiques, and collectibles. They're open Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 508-947-1598
You would call up on that one there.
or visit them at
Thing opens.
556 Grand.
Well, yeah, when the antique shop is opening,
The
yes.
number again is 508-947-1598.
I don't know if
Our
that.
antique shop is not open at this time.
I don't know if that
Hi, this is Ray
is
Brown.
under phase one or
Inviting
not.
you to
So.
tune in to Talkin' Birds, a show about wild birds, birding, and conservation, right here on WVBF, broadcasting from the Taunton Federal Credit Union studios at 14 Church Green. Join us for informative interviews and fun information about birds and birding. It's Talkin' Birds, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9, here on WVBF, AM 1530 and 99.7 FM.
The virus that causes coronavirus disease is spreading in some of our communities. This disease, also known as COVID-19, is thought to spread mainly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Take steps to lower your risk of getting sick. Here are some things you should do. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. You can also use hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Take extra measures to put distance between yourself and others. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Stay home if you're sick, except to get medical care. If you have severe symptoms, please call 911. Cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue or the inside of your elbow. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces. Older adults and people who have severe chronic medical conditions like heart or lung disease or diabetes are at higher risk for more serious illness from COVID-19. This group should consult with their healthcare provider about additional steps to stay protected. For more information on COVID-19, please visit cdc.gov.
I have a lot of stuff to play.
Combat Veteran
A lot of ads to
Motorcycle
play.
Association is an association of
It's because a pretty long ad
veterans
break
from the United States
when
Armed
you think
Forces
about it.
who ride motorcycles
Why
as a
you
hobby.
like this?
Our mission is to support those
What?
who have defended
Why you
our country in freedom.
It's the PSA.
Our focus is
It's
to
still-
help veteran
it's the
care
PSA.
facilities provide a warm
You
It's
got-
not in any event. It's the PSA.
and guidance,
How
or
long is the
simply to
commercial
say
break
thank
for?
you and welcome home.
It's probably like a 4 or 5 minute break.
All 50 states and living
What are you
abroad.
gonna do, Joe?
Many members continue to
That's-
You got
serve
one
in
more
armed
to play,
forces.
right?
That's fine. I got yours to play, and that's it.
Years now. We
And
sponsor
we head back to the show.
participate in many motorcycle-related charities.
What are you gonna do? I gotta play these ads.
And as a nonprofit organization, donate to various
Lots of
veteran
ads.
care facilities and veteran charities. To
I mean, which is a
learn
good
about the
thing.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle
Oh, wait a minute.
Association and how you can
328.
join or support.
I put 08.
Please
I don't want to
visit
do that.
CVMA2-2.
I want your commercial, not a sound effect. There we go. Perfect.
No, the sound effect was you were playing
DK
Country
Crystal
Auto
Removal Services is a company to call
What?
to get any cleanup you may need to do
What?
around your house done any time of the year. You can call them.
I accidentally put 008, and that would have played a sound effect.
Don't.
So I'm not gonna do that.
Don't make
metals,
any
railroad
don't make any
ties,
mistakes.
tires,
I mean,
appliances,
you're too good to make
paints,
mistakes, Joe.
and much, much more. Like concrete, brick, asphalt.
No, I caught it. I'm like, no,
brush,
nope, that's
logs,
not
and
the right
leaves.
one.
Also,
Not at all.
basements, attics,
I don't wanna play that.
garages, houses, and property in general. Again, the number is 508-725-2334. Call them today. You will not be disappointed
27.
in DK Driscoll Removal Services.
Alright. That's back up, that's back up, that's back up, mic is back up. Alright. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're back here on Middleboro in review for the 24th of May. And I did find the information about town meeting. Town meeting will take place on June the 25th at 7 p.m. at Nichols Middle School. So I am guessing that it will take place at the auditorium in Nichols Middle School on the 25th at 7 p.m. So that is town meeting coming up in June. So we are going to turn to sports, and we're going to turn to a couple of different things. There's been some new information that's come out about restarting some sports. I know that the NBA has officially announced that they're looking into, when they come back to playing at Walt Disney, which is extremely interesting. I know there's several venues that they can do that in, and the players will have to stay at the hotels. I think there'll be strict guidelines with where the players can go and where they and how they will do things when they reopen the NBA season. Also, baseball is trying to work out something to salvage the season as well. They're trying to work out maybe an 82-game schedule to play half the season, to do 82 games. So, don't have a lot of information on the MLB yet. Not a lot of information on NFL at this point. Things haven't been changed. It's still a possibility that things may get pushed back a little bit, but at this point, things haven't been changed. Things are still on schedule, and they're still on schedule to start in September of this year. And the Patriots have a pretty tough schedule, not having Tom Brady. So the AFC East is a lot closer. And the AFC East did actually get a lot closer with the adding of another quarterback into the AFC East as well. So it's definitely a tough division. What are your thoughts about that, Don?
About Tom Brady?
About everything I talked about. The NBA possibly doing games at Walt Disney.
Yeah, I guess they could probably start, feel it out. Obviously, it's going to be no fans, which is going to be weird for the players. They'll get used to it. They'll play a couple games and they'll fall right into place. I think they need to do something. Like I said, I wouldn't want to be a contract lawyer.
Absolutely.
All this time, so they got to figure it out. Now, I did hear some. I listened to some AM stations over the course of the week, and they're talking about how they might be having, now the players and the owners are kind of at odds as far as money, because obviously they haven't played nothing yet. It's going to be a shortened season. They're not going to get any revenue from the fan base. Concessions is out, right? The money they make off concessions. It's like when you go to the movies. You pay more money at the concession stand than you do to get in. Well, I do. But I think it will work. I just think they just need to do it smart. They don't want the players to get sick. Because once one team member comes down with it again or whatever, it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
absolutely.
Pull the plug. So
Yeah.
they really need to figure it out. I wouldn't rush into it.
No.
It's
important not to.
I say, it's my opinion. I mean, I know millions and millions of dollars are at stake. But
the MLB is thinking about an 82-game schedule.
And when they plan on starting that, like 4th of July?
I think that's what they're thinking.
I think that might be too soon. I mean, everyone's cursing me, like, baseball people out there. They want their baseball and probably want to reach into the microphone and strangle me right now for even saying that. But, I don't know. I think maybe it might be too soon, I think.
And the NHL is thinking about doing a 24-team playoff scenario. So how that would work? The NHL. The AHL has, I believe, canceled their season and they're not doing playoffs.
Poor Vince McMahon. That's all I got to say.
And the XFL too is no longer.
What they get? No longer. What do you mean?
They're no longer. They went bankrupt.
Oh, they did?
Because of COVID-19. Yes.
What did they do?
They had to go bankrupt.
They had 4 games or 3 games before all this hit.
4 games, 4 or 5 games. Yeah.
You can never say never because
there's a possibility that
could come back.
That Vince will buy it again and restructure it and start it up again.
No fault of his own. I mean, I think there was a lot of excitement around that. You were excited about it.
Yes.
Spring football.
Yeah, and it was some pretty interesting stuff. The way that they presented it, the way it was different. And it's too bad.
That guy touches
really
cold
is.
Anyway. I really believe that.
I think it will be back. Maybe not next season, but maybe the season after. I think it will be back.
I mean, you're a perfect example of a fan.
Yeah, I watched it from day one, from game one, and I liked the presentation of it.
Yeah, since you were 8 years old? Or 9, 10 years old?
Yeah, the WWE, exactly, yeah. I watched it for a long time.
Well, it was a little time that you put it down for a bit, but it's back up again. Every Monday I come on. When I'm coming home, it's on TV.
Yeah,
a particular show.
They've done some very innovative things during the pandemic when it comes to presentation.
They started right off. They didn't waste no time. They're the first one. They're the first game in town as far as getting back into the swing of things. They had matches in April, right?
Yeah, they have been very little affected by COVID-19, other than
no fans,
and other than pay-per-views at different locations. They are doing their pay-per-views at the Performance Center, the WWE Performance Center, which is in Orlando, Florida.
Which they own.
Yep, and they also did a pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, which was on top of the roof at HQ. And Stamford, Connecticut. So,
Okay.
actually, when it comes to the HQ that everyone knows and loves, if you watch WWE and you've seen the HQ before, that's gone. That's gonna go. They're building a new HQ in Connecticut. They're building a new HQ as we speak. So, the old one will no longer be around in a couple of years. So that's something interesting to mention as well. Alright, so let's move on from the sports segment. And let's talk about the food pantry. The Sacred Heart Food Pantry in Middleboro is open. And they are now able to serve more households. So the Sacred Heart Food Pantry at 53 Oak Street in Middleboro remains open to both existing and new households in Middleboro, Lakeville, Carver, and Rochester. Families using the pantry must live in one of these 4 towns. However, income guidelines for emergency food assistance have been temporarily waived by the U.S. Department of Agriculture for those facing food insecurity. New households need to call 508-947-1717 and select option 2 to register before coming to the pantry in person. Anyone concerned with entering the food pantry should know that all recommendations for maintaining social distancing and cleanliness are being followed and have been reviewed with the Middleboro Health Department. No one displaying signs of sickness can enter the pantry. The pantry's personnel regularly sanitize all surfaces. They limit the number of clients in the building, requiring the wearing of masks by all volunteers and clients. They also insist on disinfecting of hands and wearing of disposable gloves by volunteers and clients. Anyone with concerns about coming to the pantry under these conditions should contact the pantry. 508-947-1717. Selecting option 1 to discuss alternatives such as authorizing a relative or a friend to pick up food. The pantry has plenty of food. The Greater Boston Food Bank is confident it can meet the pantry's needs so it can help anyone facing food insecurity during these uncertain times. So that's very important.
It's good that you mentioned that weekly. It's very important for people to know that.
It's a very important resource.
And they've been on the ball. They've been doing this since day one. And they've always been doing it. They've always been open, even before this. And you got to give it out to the volunteers, everyone who dedicated themselves to helping and putting themselves in risk too, going out there. So I think this country really stepped up to the plate during this whole pandemic, in my opinion. I mean, you got some bad actors, but not many. You got some opportunists, but not many. You have sensationalism, but not as much.
Not as much, yeah.
People aren't buying into it. That's the problem. They used to buy into it. People used to be scared for what anyone said on the radio or TV. But not as much anymore. It's good. It makes your heart feel good that people are just stepping up to the plate. They're not selfish. I mean, it's at the store. You know, you walk around, you do your thing, you stay away. I mean, it's not like you're robots to the state. Oh, I'm going to do what the state says. No, it's not. It's none of that. Because the cooperation was huge.
Yeah.
That's not the state making you stay in. We never had a stay-at-home order. It was a stay-at-home advisory. We advise you to stay at home. Might as well. Everything's closed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Everything
can't
was
go
closed.
You can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I thought that with Governor Baker, that was the right recipe.
Yeah.
And I think we've had a lot less pushback because of it. I mean, there's a few, people are aching to get back to work.
Yeah.
And I've done my part personally to frequent, restaurants. But what I really want to try to do, and I know a lot of the takeout places that are normally takeout places, always been takeout places. They're doing huge. They're doing good. I think a lot of them are doing good. I can't speak for all of them, but the ones I go to, they're cleaning up. They're doing really good. But I think what people need to, especially as we wait for, I think the restaurant's open in phase 2, right? A couple weeks. No, this is not too sure. You got an idea? Maybe after the next commercial break, you check out the phases or whatever.
Yeah.
But go to a place that you normally wouldn't go for takeout.
Yep.
You've been living here in this area, and you go to a certain takeout places. But think of a restaurant that you normally wouldn't go for takeout. Go there. Help them out.
Support local businesses.
Support all businesses, I say. But
yeah.
There are places that are normally takeout and eateries, right? Normally you go there for takeout. Normally it's a stand or it's whatever. Search for those restaurants that you normally wouldn't go for takeout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I think more people should do. Just last few weeks here, just get them over the edge. A restaurant you never ever would think of going for takeout. Search it out. Call them up. Hey, you got takeout? Oh yeah. And go there and frequent that. That's what I think. I think that'll help a lot of people.
Yeah, it's extremely important.
I'm not saying all the takeout places are doing great.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing, I think they're doing all right. But people forget about the other sit-down restaurants that you would normally just go and sit down. But a lot of those places are doing takeout too. I've noticed a lot of places. So I just think you should try to do that.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Definitely help out these places if you are able to.
If you can afford it.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to talk about the MBTA and their approval of a $159 million contract for South Coast Rail work.
Oh, yeah, Joe?
Yeah.
You know what else I got? A little segment I'm going to start, and it does include the MBTA.
Okay.
I didn't run it by you, but I'm telling you now.
It's fine.
Well, it's something
it's good.
Well, it's something that it's like I'll call it like odd New England. It's something that happens in New England that normally wouldn't happen anywhere else. It's just these little quirks we have.
Yeah.
As far as why is that? And I'm just gonna be a little brief discussion on this particular situation.
All right.
That's all I got to say.
So we'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review.
I'm going to have a little minute talk about the high-speed, no, I'm not going to tell the Facebook people, but go there. Who's on Facebook? Everybody good?
Scott.
Scotty!
Okay, so we're going to do your commercial first on this end.
No, do it all the same, Joe, don't you think?
No.
Why?
Need to mix it up a little bit. You gotta mix up a tad. Gotta mix things up a tad, you know? I can't just do it as the same order. It's kind of boring. So I gotta kind of mix it up a tad because we've got a lot of commercials.
You can call them.
I don't need to play any of the promos anymore because I played them once. I don't need to play the COVID thing again because I played it once.
Oh, you don't have to play it twice?
No, I'm not gonna play it twice in the same show.
Much more. Like concrete.
Just once.
You don't have to play the motorcycle thing either.
Log removal.
I'm gonna.
Logs.
I'm
Why
gonna.
would you play the Culver thing? You
Also
gotta play the motorcycle
basements,
thing.
attics, garages, houses, and property in general. Again,
I'd say the
number
Culver
is
thing's more important than that.
508-725.
Alright, well, I'll push them both then.
3334.
That's fine.
Call
I'll play
retail.
both because they're
You
both
will be
PSAs.
disappointed
Yeah,
in
you're right.
Decatur
I'll play
School
both.
for Removal Services.
Never mind. I'll play both of them. I'll push them both here. 'Cause there you go.
The virus that causes coronavirus disease is spreading in some of our communities. This disease, also known as COVID-19,
Get
is
these
thought to
PSAs out of the
spread
way.
mainly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when
Okay, we're gonna have about
coughs or sneezes.
13 minutes
Take steps to lower your risk.
So what I'm thinking about doing is just doing the MBTA thing.
And
I have to mention Memorial Day.
Right.
Because there's some news about Memorial Day.
I'll make my segment quick, alright?
And I don't think I can do the towns.
We'll do one.
I don't think I can do them. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time.
Well, you try to do one.
I'll try. I'm not promising it,
Stay
though.
home if you're sick, except to get medical
Because
care.
I don't know if we're going to have enough
If you
time.
have severe symptoms, please call
We talked a lot
911.
about Middleboro today, which is a good
Cover
thing.
coughs and sneezes with a tissue or the inside of your elbow.
There was a lot of
Clean and
news,
disinfect
so that's a good
frequently
thing.
touched surfaces. Older adults and people who have severe chronic medical conditions like heart or lung disease or diabetes
I don't know how
are at
much time
higher
I have
risk
left.
for more serious illness from COVID-19. This group should consult with their healthcare provider.
So I'll put it over to you
to stay protected.
when we get back to commercial break and do that thing.
Please visit
And then I'll do the MBTA
cdc.gov/COVID-19.
thing. Hopefully that doesn't take too long.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle
And then,
Association
yeah.
is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces.
And I gotta get to the Memorial Day
As a hobby.
stuff.
Our mission is to support those who have defended our country and freedoms.
Because that's
Our
important too,
focus
because
is
there's
to
a lot
help
of news
veteran care facilities
with
provide
that.
a warm meal, clothing, shelter, and guidance, or simply to say thank you and welcome home.
Because
Members from
Memorial Day
all
this year is a little
50
different.
states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year, and as a nonprofit
Sparks to that
organization,
next.
donate to various veteran care facilities and veteran charities. To learn more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair and complete
Two more
body
after
service
this.
for your car. They are a direct repair shop for all
Yeah, make sure you
major
play
insurance
Martha and Tom,
companies.
right?
Yeah,
Reach
Tom
508
coming up after this, and then Martha last with the
$14.95. They're open
commercial, and then good to go.
Monday through Thursday.
And we'll talk to Martha this week.
On Fridays.
Monday.
Call them today.
Talk-
You talked to
You will
Bob
not be
yesterday?
disappointed.
Yeah, I did. He said he just talked to Mark, and then
TJ
he has to check his schedule, check his calendar.
You think it's, so you kind of agreed you do it live?
And Cape Cod for 30 years.
I didn't mention
They
that, but I
specialize in
mentioned
simple
Saturday and Sunday.
and landscaping.
Why
I should mention that. I should have. Yeah, I mentioned Saturday and Sunday.
Do your show.
Just to do everything. Yeah.
You asked him to do your show live?
No, I didn't ask him that. I just asked him to do Saturday and Sunday.
You get a smart number?
No. Well, actually, yeah, I do. See if something.
Don't play them. Ask him.
Again,
You
the
know.
number is
Just ask him. I really want to do my show live if you don't mind.
Alright.
7966. Call them today. You will not be disappointed.
Okay, I need to do Martha now. 079, enter.
Williams Trading Post is a proven, certified garden center and is the best shop in Middleboro for all seasonal plants and vegetables. They also sell gifts, antiques, and collectibles. They're open Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Thursday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 508-947-1598.
I love this song. I love this music.
Or visit them at
It's great.
556 Wareham Street, Middleboro.
It's awesome.
And the number again is 508-947-1598. Their antique shop is not open at this time.
Alright, we're gonna have about 10 minutes.
Alright.
So yeah, definitely no.
I'll make it quick.
Yeah, just make it quick because we're gonna really.
You want me to go in with it or you?
Yeah, go in with it.
Alright.
Go in with it. I'll put it over to you in just a second here.
Introduce me to it, alright?
Yeah.
It'll be a minute.
Alright, welcome back to Middleboro in Review, and let's turn it over to Don.
Yeah, this little segment I was thinking about up yesterday, and pretty much odd things in New England that we live with, and it's always been something we've always lived with. But for example, we got the Ashmont Mattapan high-speed trolley. It starts in Dorchester at Ashmont Station, goes all the way to Mattapan, and runs through Milton. Most people know that. They probably wrote on it. And they got the old PCC cars that they still run. I guess they still use the 1945 to 48 vintage cars because of the tracks. They can't run the new ones, which is, for some people, they like it. And they had to rebuild those set of cars over a stretch of time, between 78 and 83, and I believe between 99 and 2003. So they rebuilt these cars like 2 or 3 times over. And they're always looking for stock. I've heard that they call the streetcar museum up in Kittery, Kennebunkport, up that way, to get parts for the old PCCs to run these PCCs. And it's other than Philadelphia, it's one of the oldest rolling stocks in the country. And another thing about this line too, it's one of the only railroads that go through a cemetery. It goes through Cedar Grove Cemetery, and the right of way has been there since like the 1870s. So it's a little odd little things we have here in New England, because there's not many states that have this, especially going through the cemetery part.
All right, so the MBTA just approved a $159 million contract for South Coast Rail work. So I'm going to read a little bit about this article here. Brand new train stations in Freetown and Fall River, construction of an all-new Weaver's Cove layover facility, and work on 12 miles of track are included in a $159 million contract the MBTA approved on Monday, which was a couple of weeks ago, for South Coast Rail. The contract is to build the Fall River Secondary and the first major construction package of South Coast Rail Phase 1. Going to complete in fall of 2023. Phase 1 will connect southeastern Massachusetts and Boston, providing riders with a one-seat trip from Taunton, Fall River, and New Bedford to Boston in less than 90 minutes. Since the groundbreaking in July of 2019, South Coast Rail has spent close to $100 million on construction work, real estate acquisitions, vehicle procurement, and related design and contract management administration, according to the MBTA. The MBTA estimates South Coast Rail will be an $8 billion project requiring 5 years of capital investment. Taunton, New Bedford, and Fall River are the only major cities within 50 miles of Boston that do not currently have commuter rail access to Boston. So, what do you think about this?
That sounds like a long trip. And I know some legislators were fighting to axe that and get the route from Stoughton. We talked about this before.
Yes.
It's a long trip. It's a road trip. It's 90 minutes.
90 minutes with I guess really no.
That's a long time to be cooped
stopping
up on a train.
Other than the stops that are possibly. There's probably stops in there, maybe, but a 90-minute train ride, yeah.
On a train for 90 minutes every day.
Yeah.
3 hours of travel.
That is hard.
You live in New Bedford, and you want to work in Boston. That's no way of. I think New Bedford's the new boomtown, in my opinion. I really think New Bedford is the town to watch. I really do, because its location. 195, the train's coming in, but whoop-dee-doo. Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah.
as far as New Bedford, that line is fine that they built it, because that line also too the far end's down on the far end, but they need to run that Stoughton line. They need to run the train up through Taunton all the way up to Raynham through Stoughton, and they need to electrify it. Period.
Yeah.
Period. And they probably would have had the project done. I mean, it's taken 4 years to do. What's another year to electrify it and be down in New Bedford Fall River in, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Again, last year. I mean, I know you finished the show. You got me going here. All right?
Yeah, we still...
In 1919, it's fast to get to New Bedford. from Boston than it is now.
All right, so we will
1919.
continue this.
Yeah,
we will
right.
continue this
You got me going. Jim.
next week.
Yep.
We're gonna, or when we get more information about South Coast Rail, we will continue
I'm
that.
not too excited about any new South Coast Rail with that old route. Taking out Middleboro Station, that's ridiculous.
So, Memorial Day, the Memorial Day events in Middleboro, and the parade have been canceled this year because of COVID-19. MacCam, if you turn on MacCam, they're going to have all sorts of different events from Memorial Day past. So they're going to have a lot of different parades and other events that they're going to be airing. So I suggest, if you want to watch those, to tune into MacCam this weekend. I believe it's today and tomorrow that they will be airing a lot of Memorial Day events and parades. So, just wanted to mention that. So we're going to turn our attention to the Today in History for the 24th of May. So, we have it here. We're just going to get it up. Just a second, and it is up. So, we have a couple of Today in Histories. First one we have is 1607. 100 English settlers disembark in Jamestown, the first permanent English colony in America. 1856, John Brown and his 5 men kill slavery supporters in Potawatomi Creek in Kansas, and this was part of an event called Bleeding Kansas, which was one of the events that led to the Civil War about 5 years after this event. 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City is open to traffic after 14 years of construction. 1941, World War II. In the Battle of the Atlantic, the German battleship Bismarck sinks then pride of the Royal Navy HMS Hood, killing all but 3 crewmen. And I believe the battleship of Bismarck was sunk.
Oh, yeah.
A year later, maybe?
I'm not too sure, but it was something. Actually, a biplane got it, I think. A biplane bomber.
So, birthdays that we have for today. 1941, Bob Dylan. American singer-songwriter, guitarist, artist, writer, producer, and Nobel Prize laureate. So he received a Nobel Prize. Nobel
That's what you
Prize.
meant to say, yeah.
Yeah, he received one of those. And in 1955, Roseanne Cash, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. And in 1965, John C. Reilly, American actor. He's a comedian, kind of. He's been in a bunch of comedy movies, but he's also been in some kids movies as well. A couple of them come to mind where he's done very well in some kids films. He's been in a lot of great comedy films as well. And the deaths that we have for today, 1984, Vince McMahon Sr., American wrestling promoter and businessman. He founded the WWE. So that is our Today in Histories for today. Any last things you want to say? We do have a little bit of time.
Oh, we do? What do we got, 30 seconds?
Probably about, we have about 30 seconds. Anything you want to say?
Why'd you get me going on the South Coast Rail? Huh?
Yeah, I wanted to have more time on that. We did jam in quite a bit.
We talked
today.
a lot about that, and like I said, I know there was a group of legislators, mass legislators, that were against it, voted against it, and I talked to a couple, and I see their point. only way to open up these cities to be huge. These cities can be huge again.
Yeah.
It's just rapid transportation. They really need it. They didn't now with this COVID thing and not overcrowded trains. They need that line more than ever now.
Yeah.
And they need to electrify their trains. They got to start going. And I don't understand why the MBTA doesn't buy a couple of electric lines, because they run the Providence Stoughton line. They run electric trains. Amtrak does. Why they gotta run diesels under the wire? Running diesels under the wire, under the electric wire, doesn't make sense to me. Why?
Yeah.
Why can't they just buy a couple, 2 or 3 engines?
So we will gather more information about this
Now we started, Joe.
for next week's show. And we're going to take phone calls on it too if you want to call in on that as well for next week's program. But that will do it for today's program.
No one's going to ride it. No one is going to ride it.
So we are going to say goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
To everyone. Join us next week for the May 31st edition of Middleboro in Review. Have a great day and a great week, everybody, and a great Memorial Day. Yeah, a good Memorial Day. A good Memorial Day.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everybody.